We're in a beautiful setting here today, and it probably reminds you a little bit of what Kaurna country was like before European settlement. National Reconciliation Week 2022 is the theme Be Brave, Make Change, and it's a challenge to all Australians to tackle the unfinished business of reconciliation. Reconciliation is not about us, the Aboriginal people sitting at this table. It's about you watching. The National Reconciliation Week theme, Be Brave, Make Change, is a challenge to individuals, to your families, your communities, organisations and government. To be brave and tackle the unfinished business of reconciliation so all of us can make change for the benefits of all Australians. You probably know that National Reconciliation Week is the 27th of May to the 3rd of June. You probably don't know that it started on a Sunday as a prayer event and then built into National Reconciliation Week. It's a time for all Australians to learn about our shared histories, cultures and achievements, and to explore how each of us can contribute to achieving reconciliation in Australia. This year's theme builds on the 2021 theme, which encouraged us all to greater action on reconciliation, and we saw unprecedented responses to our suggested actions for every day and for braver action. Action rather than talk, although we're going to be talking a bit today. What I'd like to do is to ask the panel, and doesn't really require anyone to start, but it helps if we get someone starting. Otherwise, I'll nominate you. How does that sound? What I'd like to do is ask that each of you think through this and then comment in your own words as to what reconciliation means for you. Silence is golden.
All right, I'll kick it off, get it over and done with. So one of my main walks in life is repatriation, and I'm on the Kaurna, it's not the board, it's the subcommittee about repatriating our elders past back to Kaurna country. I've done about 3 of them now where we return our ancestors back to our land, and I've told my child that it's, it's good for our well-being, it's good for everybody's well-being to repatriate. We acknowledge the atrocities of the past, but how do we move forward together? Unfortunately, I've put skulls, I've put legs, I've put teeth, I've put remains on our country, but not the full skeletal remains. You know, I believe, why should I have a skull here on my country and yet the body's back in England in a museum? So my goal is for my daughter and my family to get the full skeletal remains. If we find somebody in Gully that's passed away in the war, they actually bring the whole body back. Well, why can't we bring our whole body back as well? And so through these processes we educate. The last one we did up at the Playford Council area, we buried 120 people back on our country. The Premier came and helped us out and put some remains back on our land. And we had over 2,500 people there that came past and hugged us on the way through. And these non-Aboriginal people said to us, well, really appreciate you having us and thanks for letting us come. Well, we said, actually, it's really good for your well-being as well as ours. We all acknowledge these atrocities and we need to move forward, and the only way we can move forward is through the spirit of reconciliation. And this is why in the education space I love doing RAPs, so reconciliation action plans, on how schools can engage Aboriginal people coming to their site, how we can acknowledge the language on the site, and how we can actually work together. A lot of teachers, a lot of schools are very frustrated. They don't want to offend us. You know, I sarcastically say that you've stolen our land, you stole our kids, you can't offend me anymore. But we need to move forward together. And when we make little tiny jokes like this, it sort of makes it people a bit more relaxing. And I encourage teachers to make a mistake, because we all learn from mistakes. It doesn't matter whether it's a mistake writing my language incorrect or mistakes on how you talk to our people. You know, we really do want to walk side by side with you. You know, when I do my welcomes to country, and I acknowledge I'm on the Kaurna land, and thank you, Uncle Frank, for welcoming me, that, you know, I stand in front of somebody and I say, look, I don't want to walk in front of you, and I stand behind people and say, I don't want to walk behind you. I stand next to them and say, I want to walk side by side with you, because this is the only way we can move forward together. And through these reconciliation action plans is how we do it. So I've done them with government, I've done them with private industry, whether it be hospitals, and with the building companies that work on Kaurna country. And I really enjoy doing them at schools. I do them at private schools and I do them at public schools. It's just about how we engage each other and how we can move forward together. So, you know, I'm really proud to see a young Aboriginal lady here at the table, because I'm mindful my grandfather told me, my grandmother told me that whatever we do for you. We don't do it for us. You're our hope, you're our foundation, and we want to guide you, we want to help you. You know, we have yarning circles where we have old people, young people sitting around talking with hindsight on how to share knowledge with you guys. And I'm so proud. I just had this really buzz in my heart when I heard that you're the head of school in your school. So how cool is that? An Aboriginal person, the head of the school. You know, you're our shining light. So, you know, by all means, ask questions. We'll share with you. You just make us really proud by what you're doing. I'm sitting next to a lady that is an absolutely awesome artist. She's a bit shy of saying, oh, I'm just an artist. Well, if anybody's seen her work is pretty good. And I was lucky enough one day to do a welcome to country for one of her art exhibitions, and I got to see her work and meet her family again, and realise her dad is actually an awesome bloke. I already knew him, but it's really good to meet young people that are really great at what they do, and you need to immerse in their culture, in their understanding of our art and our language. So that's me. If you're out there, please just talk to us. Get a rap program happening. You can do little things, deliverables from the straight away, whether it be acknowledging your schools on Kaurna country, you know, writing your email headers. You know, my community is the only Aboriginal community out there in the world that has native title of a capital city. So why aren't you acknowledging it? Why aren't you being a leader? Take out the word traditional owners and put in native title holders. That's a deliverable you can do straight away. And Australia Post allow you to change, you know, from number 1 Smith Street, Kaurna country, North Adelaide. You know, we can do these sort of activities straight away. And just talk to us. We'll happily work with you. That's me. Night, Dahlia.
Well said.
Yeah, my name's Frank Wanganeen. I'm a Kaurna Naranga person, and I'm a cultural educator, and I really enjoy doing educating the wider community around the Kaurna culture and language, and particularly young kids. I go into schools, kindies, and even I've had little kindy kids coming up on the tour, and they're singing the Nina Māori song, and you know, so they at a young age they're learning like language and about Kaurna culture. So I think education's the way to go, to try and educate people about you know, culture in their own backyard, and people are starting sort of wanting to learn and you know, have a better understanding about culture, and it's about overcoming your fear, because a lot of people are still frightened to you know, talk to an Aboriginal person, because there's a lot of stigma around you know, the things back in their own minds that they have to sort of conquer. So yeah, I think education's the way to go, and you know, more people get educated and have a better understanding about Kaurna people and Aboriginal people in general. So.
Thank you very much. I also feel the same as you both. I think it's reconciliation for me is around truth telling. I think you need to have that as the foundation. We need to know the true history of this country. I think I also have a bit of a love-hate relationship with reconciliation, I think, because again, as you were saying, Uncle, it's more often than not Aboriginal people who are the storytellers and the ones in Reconciliation Week talking about our experiences and giving the kind of 101s of how to work with our mob and how to do culturally appropriate or culturally responsive kind of business. But again, I understand that's kind of what we need to do. It also plays into our natural ways of being and doing and living. We are natural storytellers. We are natural, sharers. We're also natural growlers. I think that's really important too, to kind of talk about that too. You both touched on not wanting people feeling like they don't want to do the wrong thing. And I think it's really important to kind of recognise that. But this is about reconciliation. You just have to kind of be brave and you might do the wrong thing, you might get growled, but that's okay. That's our way of learning too, So I think that's really important. I guess the other thing that I want to talk about reconciliation, so like I mentioned, I'm a social worker and an artist. So I always like to bring kind of those themes of allyship into kind of people's journeys. I think it's really important to think of yourself as an ally if you're kind of coming along this journey of reconciliation. Anyone can be an ally. An ally is about using your privilege and your power to support other people that don't have that voice in whatever way you can do that. So I think that's really important. Probably that's the biggest takeaway for me that I want people to know about reconciliation. If you don't think of yourself as an ally, why is that? So think about allyship, think about your allyship journey, think about your cultural learning journey, and again, listen to stories of our mob and our people and the multiple generations. Do that truth telling. But yeah, think about how you can then action that as an ally.
Coming from a young person's perspective, I think reconciliation is about celebrating our differences, especially coming from a school that's very multicultural. I think it should start reconciliation within schooling because that's where you learn the most. I think it's about attempting to strengthen the relationship between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people because that's when you can kind of make a difference. I think it's about accepting and comprehending the past while also establishing connection with others to build that trust with each other and also that respect as well.
Lovely.
Oh, thank you.
That was good.